Okay, thank you Olaf, and welcome everyone. Good morning. As Olaf said, I'm the community manager, James Falkner, and we're going to talk about what's coming up. So before we go there, every time I come to these events and I meet all of you and see the passion and the excitement in your faces, not necessarily just for Liferay, but for whatever else is happening in your lives, it energizes me and it makes me feel really good. I love to capture those moments. So last night at Oktoberfest, you guys captured a number of interesting moments. I actually captured an interesting moment too. So I want to share with you a picture of what I believe to be the spirit of our community. How many of you are kind of scared right now? So here it is. This is the picture of our community. The peace and love and support. It was all on display last night. No, I'm just kidding. That's actually not the picture I was going to show you. Although if you look pretty closely, you can see Mr. Cornelius, he actually was there. Yeah, sorry, Cornet. We'll talk later, and I'm sure I'll be expecting retribution very soon. But no, this is the community. These are several of the pictures from last year and this year. Really excited to see the looks on people's faces when they either discover something new about Liferay or about one of their fellow community members. So that's what it's really all about. And the word community itself means together, the co for together, and munis to strengthen. So what we share together, we can strengthen together. What we share together, we can change for the better together. So that's why I love coming to these events, and I love participating online and meeting all of you. So let's talk about what's happened in the last year in our community. I showed the same slide last year. I've updated the numbers, and I've added the percentages. So we've seen significant growth in a number of areas. We're now up to 5.1 million lines of code, which is good, and there's more code, more complexity, and you know what we're doing with Liferay 7 to mitigate that. So we've seen growth in our partners, growth in marketplace, growth in user groups, growth pretty much across the board. Very happy to see that. Also, I show this typical slide, the new registrations in the last year, since October of last year. Again, United States and India, number 1 and 2, and then lots of European countries. But if we change this again to per capita, again, Finland comes out on top. So there'll actually be a group photo this afternoon at 2:15 outside in the expo area. So definitely don't miss that. And that drawing by Samsa, he sent me this morning. It looks really funny. I actually had another naked picture of Finnish saunas, but this one is even better. So thank you again for that, Samsa. Okay, we had another person join our community this year. In July, Mr. Spam here decided to target our Liferay forums and Liferay wikis and Liferay comments. I actually think that although it's annoying, I kind of consider that kind of a stamp of approval. They're actually targeting us. We're popular now. So it's when people start pirating your software and targeting you for spam, you sort of made it. So thank you to the spammers for recognizing us. So we also instituted another program, which we'll talk about, the community moderators. So several of the faces here are here today, and they helped out a great deal in dealing with this, not only just clicking delete, mark as spam, delete, but also coming up with a throttling for our forums to kind of limit this. So it's not going to go away, unfortunately, but with the help of the people you see here, we've done significant strides to minimize that. Also, throughout the year, this past year, we've attended several events. We've done a lot of roadshows and businessy events, but for community events, where we go and we don't expect to get leads or get salespeople to follow up, we actually have in the booth at some of these events, we had an activity people could sit down and use Liferay screens and make some interesting stuff with Liferay. Not to recruit to buy EE, but just to recruit to get in our community and stay in our community and show them the wonderful things that we're all working on together. So you see some of the lists here. Also, our user groups were active. Several of them are active in the last year. You can see them listed there. If you're in a user group and you're not on this slide, please let me know. I generally look at Twitter and the user group pages and hearing individual reports from community members about which groups are active to make this list. So if you're not here, let me know, and we'll figure out how to get that communication channel going. Okay, Community Edition releases in the last year. So you remember last year, I stood up on stage, and then Olaf made you all forget, so you probably don't remember. But this is the release train from 6.1. So 6.1.0 came out in 2012 at the beginning, and then we had a huge gap, and then we had 6.1.1 and 6.1.2. 6.2 started out okay, and then there was another big gap, which you all remember, almost a year gap between 6.2.1 and 6.2.2. And a lot of you gave us feedback and said, we can't deal with this. We can't go 9 to 12 months without anything from Liferay unless we're a paying customer. Not only for stability reasons, but also for security bug fixes and so forth. So last year I came up on stage and said, okay, we're going to promise to do it every 6 months. And we've done it. So in January 15th of 2015, we released 6.2.2. And then in, I believe it was in April or May, actually, we did 6.2.3. And then we're going to do 6.2.4 in November of this year. So 6.2.4 is going to come out in about a month. We're going to have all the security fixes from the security team. We're going to have all the community requests that come in that are possible to be done. If you have a request, you have one more week to get your request in. So be sure and go to that URL there, or just search on the forums for GA5. Juan Gonzalez, the picture here, he's done a fantastic job of taking the requests and putting them in a format that our team can process and get those fixes in for you. So that you can have yet another awesome 6.2 release. This is probably going to be the last 6.2 release, so it's your last chance to get them in if you're interested in that, because Liferay 7 is coming very soon. Again, it'll contain all the security fixes, all the high-impact bugs that we've found in CE and EE, and again, we're going to release that in November of 2015. Speaking of security issues, our security team was rather active this year, also a good thing. Many security researchers have begun looking at Liferay, looking at our website, looking at the software. You probably saw on Twitter several of the vulnerabilities that people like to talk about. So we had 25 different patches this year for Liferay CE throughout the year. We had several in the beginning of the year, and then we just had a big batch of fixes earlier this year, or earlier last month. So our security team is working for you. We're making CE better between the releases. So when a CE gets released, anytime we find a security bug, we'll publish it. We'll publish binary and source patches, and it's there for you to download and keep up to date. We feel very strongly as a company that it's ethically wrong to knowingly allow you to download Liferay if we know there's a bug in there, a security bug that's going to affect you. Of course, we rank these in terms of severities. Very minor bugs might not get the same attention that a high-impact bug will get, but we feel very strongly that you guys should have it as quickly as possible. Our community forums are our most active area of our community. And this year, we saw about a 10% increase in the total amount of posts on the forums. But more importantly, we saw a huge decrease in the number of unanswered questions. The death of an open source community usually begins when the forums start becoming just a wasteland of unanswered questions and spam and so forth. So we were very concentrated on this. In fact, I got this email from our CEO last June, and he says, we should make forums our #1 priority. This is an actual screenshot of my Gmail account. Of course, like every good CEO, he leaves you to guess what he actually means by this. Ask me why later. It's like, okay. And of course, that later never happened. But I kind of got an idea of what he was talking about based on his research that he's been doing for some of his keynotes last year. So what we did was we looked at our forums, and we said, how many people are getting answers? And you can see, in October of 2014, about 1 year ago, we were around 30%. So 30% of the questions that were asked on the forums received no answer. 33% in November, 31%, 33%, 26%, 30%. So around 30 to 32.5, whatever the average of those numbers are. So we said, okay, this is a problem. And we've tried to solve it in the past by hiring people, saying, okay, your job is to answer every single forum post. People get burned out. They get sick of answering questions, or we find something, some different job for them that we feel is more important. So we enlisted the help of a tool called Network Activator, and several of you are involved in this. Others, if you want to get involved, let me know. So this tool allows us to look at, analyze the forums, look at the questions that are answered and not answered, and come up with that percentage. But more importantly, it enables us to initiate email campaigns, targeted email campaigns at our community experts, people who have expertise in Alloy UI or Mobile SDK or Liferay screens. Send them an email saying, here are the last week's forum posts that were not answered. So you don't have to look through the entire forum to find something that you might be able to contribute to. Here's a list of 7. Pick out the ones you think you can answer and answer them. So it's a really more efficient way of running things. So we have about 60 people in our community that are participating, and not just Liferay employees. These are, I would guess, probably about 40% of them are non-Liferay employees. So we started this in April of 2015. In May of 2015, we went from 25, or approximately 30%, to 11%. We were like, yes. And then the numbers start to get a little bit, creep up a little bit after the initial excitement, but it's still, the average is half of what it used to be. So we've seen a pretty good increase in the efficiency of our forums, and we're going to continue to do that and get that number down to 0% by next year. Our issues, our JIRA issues. So in the last year, we saw a decrease in the number of bugs filed, a slight decrease in the number of bugs fixed because there's less bugs. Part of this is probably due to the fact that we're busy on Liferay 7. Liferay 6.2 is stabilizing somewhat. But we did see a large number of increases in the feature requests, which is really cool, because that's kind of what we're concentrating on for Liferay 7. Several of the names you see here, and several of them might be here today, these guys are doing an awesome job at not only filing bugs, but actually filing fixes. Dennis I think he had around 30 bug fix, or 30 contributions, and then it goes down the list, from anywhere from 30 down to 9 or 10. So these guys are doing a wonderful job actually contributing code. It's one of the hardest things you can do to contribute to Liferay currently, and as you know, we're making that easier in the future. Blogs. We saw a decrease in the total number of blog entries, but a huge increase in the number of views. I attribute this to the quality of our blog posts. They're getting way better. People are putting a lot more time into their posts, and as a result, a lot more eyeballs, and possibly some search engines, but mostly eyeballs, are looking at our blogs. So this year, we started to recognize highlighted bloggers, so people who are doing a fantastic job. And you can see here, several of them, again, are here today. These guys are producing some really, really great blog entries. Very technical, good detail, well-formatted, well-written grammar. It's just a pleasure to read. And so I wanted to recognize them. And if you want to be a highlighted blogger, don't ask me. Prove it. Write some blog posts. Write some really good blog posts. You don't have to be writing every single day, but a few here and there about what you're doing with Liferay and how you're solving challenges or interesting things that other developers might be interested in. Put them in a blog and get them up there, and we'll definitely, everyone in this room will appreciate that. Okay, Marketplace. Very exciting this year. Marketplace saw a huge increase in the number of apps on the Marketplace. The number of paid apps especially went from 30-something to 48, or no, it was actually 20-something to 48. Large numbers of developers are now coming to the Marketplace and seeing it as a really great platform for building apps that they can share with the community and even make money on. So last year, the paid apps became reality. So last year's revenue from two Marketplace developers was 0. This year, developers are going to make $100,000 on our Marketplace. That blew me away when I went to look. I was like, I want to make a slide and show, maybe we're going to make a couple $1,000s here and there. $100,000 in 1 year, from 0 to 100,000. I thought that was amazing. I was like, awesome. Show me the money. So not only can you learn a lot from Liferay as a platform, you can actually make a living off of it. There's only 40-something paid apps on there, so there's some significant money starting to be generated in the marketplace. So we're really happy to see that. That's the whole point of the marketplace. Liferay is not going to get rich on the marketplace. You guys are, and you have that opportunity to do that. Okay, Liferay Developer Network update. So you all know the Liferay Developer Network. It was launched last year. This is the place for all of our developers to go to get information, documentation, marketplace information, and where you go to participate in our community programs. So we saw several updates this year to the developer network. Number one, we're starting to see Liferay 7 documentation show up. So if you're interested in reading about Liferay 7 and seeing what new features are there, what new APIs are there, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the detail that you need as developers will be placed for Liferay 7. So check out the drafts if you have a chance. And if you're a new member to the Liferay community, which many of you are not, some of you might be, you probably don't know about this. When you sign up on liferay.com, you get a personalized email from me with a link to a tour. This tour was implemented earlier this year, and it allows new community members who come to find out exactly how they can contribute. Instead of just kind of being faced with this huge list of form questions, they've got this nice list of things that they can do, very easy ways to contribute. So if you sign up today, you'll get this. Many of you probably haven't even seen this because you've been a member for a long time, but it's just another way that we attract and retain new members in our community, because that's really important to me and to any community, is to make sure you have a good mix of young and old to kind of pass the torch and keep that knowledge alive. Special activities are now on the developer network, so you can join our community expedition, which we'll talk about in a moment. You can join our security team. You can be a community moderator, and we're adding more and more each day. So if you're interested in any of these and you want to join, just check out these pages. Let me know. Send us an email. The community security team is an invite only. You have to have kind of a track record in our community because you actually get access to our security bugs that are generally private until we fix the bugs. So that requires a bit of experience there. Community moderators, also, again, you have to have a track record. You don't have to be technically brilliant, but you have to kind of be someone willing to help new people out and guide those who may have gone off of the beaten path to get them back properly. Also, one other thing on the developer network. If you have feedback, there are other pages up here. You can see them. There's activities, there's ideas, contributors, Liferaypedia, and feedback. Check out the feedback. It's basically a forum for giving feedback. If you have something you want to share with Liferay or me personally, you can go there. If you have a new feature idea and it's concrete enough that you feel you want to contribute that, go to the ideas page. This is the best way for you guys to give us feedback that we take, and we read every single idea that comes through, rank them, and put them in a place where they can potentially be worked on. So it's a really great way to give us the feedback that we need. Okay, awards and recognition. Every year we give out awards to our community because we feel like we should recognize achievements. So we do two types of awards. We do individual awards, and we do business or community excellence for the partners in our community. This year we also did a contest. So a Liferay Screens contest to build an app with Liferay Screens over the summer during your vacation, and submit that, and you could win a prize. So we have two winners that I wanted to reveal today. Excuse me. The first one is actually a repeat winner. So Sebastian from France actually won our marketplace app contest a couple of years ago. And so he submitted an app for Liferay Screens, and he actually won. So this app, My WiFi Directory, you should check it out. It's an Android app. It allows you to save the Wi-Fi hotspots that you encounter with a password and share them with your friends. So if you go to a local pub and they have a password-protected Wi-Fi, you can save that and then send it to others who are using this app. So it uses Liferay as a backend. It uses Liferay Screens. It uses several screenlets. So he did a really fantastic job on that. So I just wanted to give him a round of applause for winning. Well done, Sebastian. So our second winner in the screens contest is Jitesh Dadlani from India. He wrote a quick message board app. So this is an app that allows you to read and write the Liferay forums through Liferay screens. So it uses, again, several screenlets, and he did a fantastic job of building this app and showing us how easy it really is to build a Liferay screens app. So please give a round of applause to Jitesh. Good job. Okay, individual community contributor of the year award. So these are individuals who have done a number of different things. They've done, of course, active on our forums, giving us contributions, writing documentation. They are doing translations. They're doing excellent blog posts. So these guys, the 2014 to 2015 top contributors, Dennis Signoretto, Andrew Jardine, Bijan Vakili, Krzysztof KG from Poland, Dave Nevinger, and Jan Geisler. So please give them a round of applause. Okay, so let's move on to the community excellence. So the partner companies that have done an amazing job in our community. So this year, the 2015 Community Excellence, you can see them here. These guys are companies that are actually allowing their employees to contribute to our community, have nothing to do with money, nothing to do with selling subscriptions or support. These guys are writing forum posts, they are blogging prolifically, they are doing all kinds of stuff for you and giving you information from them that they basically are getting paid to learn and to give to you. So please join me in congratulating this year's winners. Okay, so in the future, let's move on to what's going on in the future. So community in 2016, it's going to be a very exciting time for all of us. As you know, Liferay 7 is on its way, and that's going to have a profound impact on Liferay's architecture, APIs, developer tools, and ecosystem in general. But it's also going to have a huge, huge effect on our community. Because when you modularize code and you make it much easier to understand, you make it much more accessible. Before we get there, though, we want to make sure that it actually works. So, Community Expedition. You may have seen a couple of people walking around with Community Expedition T-shirts. So, Community Expedition is our way to give you the ability to not only see what's coming in Liferay 7, but also to give us feedback, because we want to hear from you. We want to know exactly what's right and what's wrong, more importantly. So all of these guys have joined our program, and yeah, I actually put all of these together, so it took me forever to put those icons in there. But this is the design of the T-shirt. So 355 explorers joined, and you can see a map of where they're all from. We were very excited, and that number's actually grown. It's around 370 now, so people are continuing to join the program because Liferay 7 is still available. Some of the survey results, what technical areas people are interested in. Are you a partner? Are you a developer? What's your goal? I actually like the bottom one the best. I want to learn more about Liferay, and I want to help improve Liferay for myself and the community. So 355 people are out there working for you and giving us the feedback that they believe represents not only their interests, but the community as a whole. So very, very excited that that is kind of the number one and number two reasons why people are joining the Community Expedition. If you want to join, head over to dev.liferay.com, go to participate, and you'll find the link to enroll into the program. It's free to join. If you're actually active, we'll send you a T-shirt. We've sent out, I think, almost 100 T-shirts so far. And so if you think you should have gotten one and you've not, just see me. We have some extras here, and we can give those to you here today. Some more survey results from the technology side of things. Apache Tomcat is the most popular app container. MySQL, the most popular database. Number 2 most popular database, also an open source database, Postgres. Very cool. Windows, that scares me a little bit, the fact that people are using Windows 7. And what scares me even more is there's actually people expecting to use IE 7 with Liferay 7. So you might want to check that compatibility support matrix when it comes out. You might be in for a surprise. Android and iOS clearly are well ahead of the game. The Oracle/Sun JDK, again, is the most popular there. So Community Expedition interim results, several posts, many rock stars in our Community Expedition. You can see the list there. If your picture's on here and you don't have a T-shirt from me yet, let me know, and we have some here for you. Okay, here's Liferay's 6 modules. I showed this slide last year, actually, and I was like, this looks really familiar. I think I've seen this shape before. This is the problem, right? This is a huge monolithic thing. And the problem with monolithic software is there's usually single points of failure that you can't remove. So with the Death Star in particular, if you want to remove the big giant death laser and just make it a regular star, you can't remove it. It also has this severe problem that no one really knew about at design time. The exhaust port, Luke Skywalker flies the plane in, drops the bomb, and it blows up. So here's Liferay 7. This is a flyover of all of the modules in Liferay 7 as of about 2 weeks ago. You can see that it's no longer a monolith. This is a visualization of all of the modules and their dependencies between them. So the size of the bubbles do not represent the size of the code. They represent the centrality of the module, how many links it has going in and out. So portal.settings looks kind of scary, but it's just because it's used by a lot of different things. So why am I telling you this? The reason I'm telling you this is because the size of the modules have actually gone way down, of course. As you modularize the system, the number of lines of code in each individual module is much smaller than the entire sum. In fact, around 82% of the modules in Liferay 7 are less than 10,000 lines of code. There's very popular open source projects out there that are like 100,000 lines of code that have tons of contributors, tons of people who can understand the whole thing. So a 10,000 line module is actually not that difficult to grasp. So we're adopting a new program this year called Adopt a Module. Get your code into a Liferay module, get the module owner to sign off on it, that it was a valuable contribution, not just a one-line bug fix or one-line typo, and achieve greatness. So who are the module owners? Who do you talk to get involved and become the adopted parent of a module? Write these down real quick because I'm not going to show it very much longer. I'm just kidding. Wouldn't it be nice if instead of having to remember all of these people, you could simply do @mention, WCM team, check out the change that effectively allows authors to specify the context in which blah, 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 blah. So we're going to not only modularize Liferay, the code base, but also the GitHub repositories. So you're going to have multiple GitHub repositories, maybe not one for each module, but one for significant chunks of Liferay. And we're also going to put the Liferay teams that represent these modules in GitHub. So you'll be able to @mention. You don't have to remember anyone's name. You can just simply @mention the team, submit your pull request, and get it in and become a parent of a module. This program is one part of a much larger program, a program to bring developers to Liferay 7 because the architecture of Liferay 7 is impacting the community greatly. So we want to see a lot more contributions. We want people to be able to freely contribute to Liferay because they're the real MVPs of our community. So the Ultimate Liferay Challenge is the program that we're launching next year as part of the Liferay 7 launch. So the Ultimate Liferay Challenge is a gamification of our community. So you'll be able to do all the things I talked about last year, like contributing docs and bug fixes and other very easy things to do in our community, and build your repertoire, build your reputation, and also gain points. So here's the things you can do. You can do all sorts of things. This actually showed up on a presentation I did last year. So anything you see here will get you points. As you get points, you'll become higher and higher levels. You'll achieve level 1, level 2, level 3. You'll have your name on a leaderboard, a very pretty leaderboard like this that I designed personally. You can get personalized T-shirts. So these are one-of-a-kind T-shirts we're going to make for you when you achieve certain levels. You'll get swag. So we'll give you swag to take to conferences that you might be speaking at. If you're speaking on Liferay, we'll give you a big bag you can take and you can hand out. We will give you discounts on training, discounts on EE licensing, discounts on certification programs. So we're going to do a lot of things as you achieve these levels. And as you move up and up, you'll do things like get preferred speaking slots at our events. So if you submit a call for papers and you're an expert and you're at level 8, we're going to seriously consider that. And if you get high enough, Olaf will gladly give you the Maseratis and the G6s. Just kidding. But we will do things like pay for you to travel to events. If you get accepted at an event, you're going there to speak, we'll pay for that travel. It's a huge, huge benefit to us for you to do this, so naturally we should give back to you. So the last thing, what you should do before you leave today, check out all the talks, of course, join the expedition, try the alpha if you haven't already, and give feedback to us in person. We're here. This is why we gather in person. It's the best way to get in front of us and give us the feedback that we need. And lastly, enjoy DEVCON. Thank you.